Welcome to today's video where we'll be discussing decodable readers and why they are important for your child's reading development. Now, decodable readers are effective with helping children learn to read for many reasons, which I'll discuss in a moment. However, there is another type of reader available called predictable text, or you may know them as leveled readers, that are still being used around the world in schools that are not as effective in teaching children to read. These readers use predictability, repetition, patterns, picture and context clues, all which encourage children to guess and predict words instead of using their phonics knowledge and skills. However, when children use decodable text, they're required to apply their decoding skills rather than relying on or resorting to pictures or guessing. And according to brain research, this process enhances the development of neural connections in the brain. Now, if you're in Australia, you'll be happy to know the current Australian English curriculum includes teaching phonics and using decodable texts. Let's take a quick look at a leveled reader sample I found from the internet and compare it with the decodable book I have.
Okay, here we have an early leveled reader. So this would be a book that would be expected that a child just starting school would learn to read with. We have a look at the first sentence. We've got look at the cat. So we've got two tricky words in there already that we would expect that the child would already been taught or know. So look and the. Now the is definitely taught early on as a tricky word. Look, not so much. And then in the next sentence, if we have got the word likes. So we're presuming that this child who's just started school and just learning to read knows three tricky words already, which generally would not be the case. And then if we have a look at the end of the first page, it's got the word eat. Now, it's got, for to be a child to be able to sound out the word eat, they need to know the digraph, which is two letters coming together to make one sound, that the E and the A make an E sound to be able to sound out eat. Now, if they're starting to learn to read, they're not going to be taught this yet. Initially, children are only taught the single phonemes, so the single sounds for each letter, so they wouldn't be able to sound this word out at all. Then if we go to the next page, it says it likes to stretch. Now we've got the TCH, the three letters come together to make the ch sound. Now this is a very advanced sound and generally be taught later on, like in year 1, year 2, depending on your child's program that they use, that they're taught at school. And so we wouldn't expect that a child be able to sound that word out at all. It's very advanced to be able to sound that out. So there would be a lot of guessing that would have to happen by looking at the picture cues to work out what those words are. So they would be guessing to work out the word eat and stretch and not be reading those words at all. Now the words, they've got a lot of repetition there. Look at the cat. Now cat obviously and at can be sounded out, absolutely. But as I said before, they need to know already three tricky words just when they're starting to read, and they need to be able to sound out the E and the A. But they need to know that the E and the A makes an E sound, and in stretch the TCH makes a ch sound, which they would not be taught at this point in time of learning to read. So there'll be a lot of guessing going on with being able to try and read this story.
Decodable readers are books that are specifically written and designed for beginning readers to help children learn to read by practicing phonics skills and knowledge. Decodable books can be used once the child has learnt some letter and sound correspondence and can blend words. These books contain words that can be sounded out using decoding strategies that children have been taught. Decodable readers typically start with simple words and gradually increase in difficulty as children master more phonics skills. They contain specific letter and sound correspondences that students have learnt. It also gives them practice at blending and segmenting words. By reading decodable books, children can develop fluency and accuracy in decoding words, which is an essential component of reading proficiency. Decodable readers can help build confidence and motivation to read. Because these books contain words that children can sound out and read independently, they give children a sense of accomplishment and success, which can encourage them to continue reading. Finally, decodable readers can help children develop a love of reading By providing books that are accessible and engaging, Decodable Readers can foster a positive relationship between children and books, which can have lifelong benefits for learning and development. Now let's take a look at a decodable reader.
Okay, this is an example of a decodable reader I've had at home. I used this with my daughter years ago. And on the back, we can see that we've got the phonics focus. So these are the sounds that the child will already know before even being able to read this book or even attempting this book. In decodables, what's great about them is there's usually something at the beginning about talking about what you could discuss before the story and also during the story. And then there's also some ideas about some comprehension questions. It'll also have in there examples of words that you can see here that will be in the story, and also the focus of what the tricky words are. We can see that we've got the tricky words of her, of, and the here. That will be part of this story, which means the child would have already been taught those three words before, those tricky words, before even being able to be given this book. If we flipped through to this page, we've got Mum can fit a pen in her bag, Mum can fit a pen and a fan in her bag. There is some repetition of text. However, all of those words can be decoded by the child independently. Nothing on this page would have to be guessed. Everything can be sounded out, and we've got the tricky word that has already been taught. So they could read it as mum can, it would be can fit a pen in her bag. So we'd want them to be able to read it accurately, and then we would be working on fluency. But there is nothing in this or on this page that they would need to guess at all. They would use all of their phonics skills to decode the words and use their knowledge of the tricky words they've already been taught to be able to read it.
There are quite a few decodable readers on the market now, but please note a well-designed set of decodable readers will primarily consist of text that can be decoded and systematically introduce new concepts in a deliberate manner. Decodable readers are not the only text children should have experience with, however. Every day you should read and share with them high-quality children's literature that has more complex vocabulary and sentence structure, such as picture books. When you read to your child, it gives them the opportunity to hear text being read fluently, develops their vocabulary and strategies that will support their reading progress. So in summary, decodable readers are an important tool for supporting children's reading development. By providing opportunities to practice phonics skills in a meaningful context, building confidence and motivation to read, and fostering a love of reading, decodable readers can help children become skilled and enthusiastic readers. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out our other videos for tips and strategies on supporting your child's learning and development. Have a wonderful day.